you, casting game number 1 in a series, Czech versus EmalFan. Game taking place here on Terranistan. Czech spawning as the red night elf on the top left-hand side of the map. Meanwhile, over here on the bottom right, we have EmalFan spawning as the blue human. Human versus night elf in this 1v1 on a map that is rather large but doesn't have that many red creeps. In fact, it has no red creeps, so the power of the items will be significantly less. Most likely we will be looking at a demon hunter coming out from here. No, it is not a demon hunter. We are actually looking at a warden being opened up here. Now, that one poor peasant does need to, or wants to finish this farm here, just so that he knows what is going to be coming out around the corner. Important to note that there is a second Ancient of War being placed down here at the 3 o'clock position. What is that going to do? That is going to... Oh, what? That peasant is just going to walk over here. Is he going to walk back the other way? Oh, that is beautiful. Wasting time and being able to finish off this scout farm is a beautiful, beautiful strategy right there, as a footman now runs in and takes some damage from that shadow strike as well. Back off to the north, you can see the archer looking to finish off the renegade wizard. Creep camp nearly completed as the warden is about to get to level 2. There it goes, gets to level 2. May be able to finish off this footman here. One more shot, there it goes. So it has taken down a peasant and a footman, all well before that 3-minute mark. Now, what items will be dropped? Claws of Attack +6 and that Manual of Health. Meanwhile, Archmage down over here has Gloves of Haste and Slippers of Agility. Takes down his own water elemental to make sure that damage, well, that experience will not be given to his opponent. As you can see, the Ancient of War should already be uprooting. Meanwhile, more archers are being trained off over here as well. Warden picking up Gauntlets of Ogre Strength +3, and also picking up the Manual of Health will have a bonus 125 hit points well before the 5-minute part of this game, and that Warden is going to be very, very difficult to shut down. Solo Warden is a very common strategy, and if that Warden does get to level 6, it will be very difficult for EmalFan to do very much to try and stop it. Now, this particular creep camp, normally difficult for orc players because of the slow, but easy to take out for a human player who brings over an entire army of militia just to try and clear out this creep camp. It ends up... Excuse me. It ends up being a rather easy creep camp clear just because of the auto-cast cooldown that happens on all of those units. All right, peasant down over here building another scout farm will be able to grab perhaps a troll shadow priest or some sort of the troll berserker. Level 3 on the Archmage, though, means that it is going to be not nearly as effective. That early on Troll Shadow Priest, that dispel, has to dispel more hit points off of the Water Elemental. Instead of 525, I think it's like 650, or it's somewhere in the 6 or 7 range, excuse me. So a lot more hit points to try and burn down. All right. One big problem with archers is that they have a rather difficult time trying to take down these Kobold Geomancers. There goes one, there goes another. That medium armor does take reduced damage from piercing, as the Warden is also sitting at level 3, most likely having level 2 Shadow Strike. Archmage, 675 on that Water Elemental now, so from 525 to 675. That may not sound like a very big difference, but it is in fact a big difference there, as that Water Elemental may get 1 to 2 more splash hits, so to speak, onto archers and unsuspecting units. Now, I expect that the Archmage would actually stay relatively close by here. As you can see, there is an Arcane Tower. That Arcane Tower, ooh, Fan of Knives, getting in a lot of damage now. And this is going to be a big issue. All of those peasants are purposely in different positions. There is those feedback damage, and wow, a dust of a reveal, changing everything right there and shutting everything down just because it ran out of mana. Scout farm for the win, able to cast that reveal there, as the Water Elemental is now back over here. All right, Arcane Tower with a Town Hall. That one Warden is going to have a difficult time trying to shut that down. You can see damage is being dealt, and it looks as though not much mana is to be had. Oh, there's a Siphon Mana. Beautifully done. So a Siphon Mana into a Shadow Strike. A very calculated risk right there, but not enough to finish it off. It was, in fact, level 2 Fan of Knives instead of level 2 Shadow Strike, and with that, it was not enough to finish off the units. All right, Ancient of War down over here, tanking more damage once again as we're looking at a Tree of Life expansion coming in also for Czech. EmalFan perhaps knows that that is one of the easy ways to try and counter a quick expansion, is to have an expansion of your own, and that looks like that this checking right here is important, as the Tree of Life will end up getting shut down. Czech also does pick up a Troll Shadow Priest right here. There's a Fan of Knives. The Footmen are all engaging, and there is the cancellation. All right, our Warden is very, very low on mana. Has to be extremely careful. That Troll Shadow Priest now backing off once more. Footmen falling at the hands of the Warden, as the Ancient of War down over here has to be extremely careful. It may get taken down by the creeps, and yes, it will go down. Archmage running back home, no boots of speed. Meanwhile, Warden doing a very good fight off over here. Is it going to finish off? I believe it is going to finish off that Footman. That Footman is not long for life, as the Warden now perhaps going to be going after the Troll Shadow Priest. The Troll Shadow Priest only has 240 hit points, so even though percentage-wise it looked very good, his hit points are rather low, as the Warden going to try and get into position. All right, one more shot is all that it needs, and it does get taken down. Boots of speed, definitely worth its weight in gold right now in being able to take down a handful of units, but the Arcane Towers and the Guard Towers is going to make this next situation a little bit more unbearable. All right, running straight inside here, not quite sure what he was thinking, as we now see a slow get cast down. That Warden unable to get into position. That use of the Mud Golem by EmalFan, a brilliant move to save that one Troll Berserker as it does back off. Archmage quickly checks that there is no expansion in play. Tree of Life once again being rebuilt. As we are taking a look, nothing really stopping that scout farm at all, as we are now going into tier 3 for the Night Elf. Czech teching to tier 3, but he does not even have level 4 on his Warden yet. It's been quite some time. Main bases for EmalFan is looking very strong. The economic advantage allowing him to hire more mercenaries from that mercenary camp. That is going to be a very good news there, as we're looking at just archers finishing off the apprentice wizard down over here. All right, what is the strategy? What is the long-term strategy? Warden perhaps looking to clear out this creep camp, set up an expansion, and then he will have to try and defend it. However, Ancient Protectors not nearly as strong as those Arcane Towers for harassment. You can see that there is also a lot of piercing damage, which I am surprised that EmalFan has not really caught up on as of yet. By not going defend on all of his footmen, then the amount of damage that they're taking is just significantly higher. All right, let's take a look. Archmage is going to get very, very close to level 4 here after the clearing of these two level 5 enforcers. He may actually even get to level 5 here. Yeah, he may actually get to level 5 here. So level 2 Brilliance Aura is just on the horizon. As the Boots of Kotalos, there goes one, and wait for one more. There it goes, picks up the Tome of Intelligence, and now perhaps going to try and start healing. All right. Let's silence my phone because it keeps on buzzing at me for some strange reason. Also, back off to the north, Ancient of War once again doing more creeping, and the Warden is allowing himself or allowing herself to just go ahead and creep. This is a big surprise because the economic advantage for for EmalFan has not been kept in check by Czech. What is Czech going to do to try and stop this? His army is only 48 over 50 compared to his opponent's 48 over 54, but he is going to be going into a massive amount of tech now. He's building double workshops, triple workshops, and triple workshops is nearly impossible to try and take down. And wow, oh my goodness, if that Goblin Zeppelin, one more shot to take it down, and it could have been the game. Let's go ahead and take it down there. There it goes. No, there it goes. So a whole bunch of dizzied units. Shadow Strike. Archmage now. A Lightning Shield onto that one unit there. There is a Stormbolt, and there goes the Warden in all of those exchanges. All right, back over here. Lightning Shield. Archmage falls due to the Lightning Shield, and takes down a Troll Shadow Priest as well. Wow, that brilliant use of Lightning Shield finishes off the hero, as we now are going into some resurrections. All right. However, one thing to note, the Mountain King, or the Archmage, got some experience, should have gotten some experience off of that. not quite. Maybe it was a self-denial because the Mountain King doesn't have any experience whatsoever. He may have been taken down by his own lightning shield. Now, if that is the case, taken out by his own lightning shield, that means that the Warden didn't give experience to the Archmage either, which means that it is still sitting at level 4. All right, Warden still has another charge of that lightning shield. Here you go. Gonna go ahead and keep this in check. So much piercing damage, and it looks as though if it's not gonna be canceled in time, that the Warden may in fact get to nope, not gonna get to level 5. You can take a look at this, trying to clear things up here. All of this economy just getting eaten up right here, right now. Scout towers now falling apart. There it goes, all the cancellations. There's a roar as well, as the Warden is just shy of level 5. All right, let's take a look. 50 over 60. It sounds like peasants are dying. Yeah, it looks as though the Troll Berserker purposely took out one of his own units. Let's take a look. Also, the economy. Another Wisp could be trained up, and the Warden just going to get that last bit of experience the old-fashioned way by creeping. Also, picking up a Slippers of Agility as well. The Warden has plus 21 damage. A lot of that in part due to Roar, as we're going to be looking at... Oh, there's a beautiful fan of knives right there. All right, 3 peasants already very, very low on hit points. The Warden now chasing after those units. There is a large number of guard towers, though, and without any real true range siege, those guard towers with level 2 masonry upgrades are going to be nearly impossible to take down. If the guard towers try and focus down the peasants, or sorry, the dryads, that will pretty much be over, as the Archmage, still sitting at level 4, quickly resells some of his items to try and get the items that he really needs. Scroll of Healing, no, Scroll of Town Portal quickly brought over. Archmage, or sorry, excuse me, the Bear needs to cast a Rejuvenation onto that Warden. That Warden is very, very low. Not going to be getting any experience at all, but perhaps looking to pick up Atoma Strength and Sentry Wards. Those really aren't the powerful items I would have expected from an Orange Creep Camp, as we are now looking off to the north. Siege engines running their way inside the base. All right, no Staff of Teleportation or Preservation. Archmage or Warden now looking to teleport all the way back home. Dryads are engaging, and let's take a look back over here. There is the engagement, as the siege engines are taking a fair bit of damage. Siege engines do move relatively slowly, as they are taking damage here, but they do have fortified armor, meaning that piercing damage of the Night Elf is not going to be doing that much. And on top of that, even the Warden's damage is going to be severely limited. Heroic damage, or hero damage, is significantly weaker against fortified armor, and that was mainly due to the fact that the Demon Hunter would often run inside a base and then take down farms during the early stages of the beta. All right, a new Ancient of War being constructed. All right, Ancient of Lore also over here. They are just going to be straight up engaging. We do have 7 armor here, as there are now 6 siege engines in play. All right, this Ancient of Lore needs to uproot. Wisp now being brought over. There you have it, purposely uprooting itself so that it does not have fortified armor, and that is a very, very smart choice. Without the fortified armor, it actually takes reduced damage here, as we can see that they are trying to go after. All right, let's take a look. One bear, a bear was able to finish off one. All right, is the Warden going to be able to finish off another here? This is going to be a big question. Down to 100 hit points, down to 57, 72. Down it goes. And wow, that was a big loss. If it uprooted perhaps seconds earlier, it would have stayed alive. The 1-1 upgraded siege engines just enough to fend off this attack, and it looks like Czech unable to stop what many would be considered human cheese, knowing the weakness of the Night Elf base. Back down over here. Goblin Sapper is going to run in and enjoy themselves, quickly taking down, but the Dryads finishing off all of those water elementals there. Is it going to give level 6 to the Warden? Yes, it does. We have a solo level 6 Warden now, but no economy. I believe if the Night Elf loses this game, it is going to be one of the few games that we got to see a level 6 Warden, and that level 6 Warden is just not going to be effective enough as triple human bases. Czech with the higher score, but with the loss in game number 1. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Please stay tuned for game number 2.